This module introduces the concept of risk-weighted global ranking. The ranking focuses on identifying states with internal fragility. It also considers states with significant external linkages. The aim is to pinpoint potential sources of systemic shocks. These shocks can have regional or global repercussions. The methodology employs a 5-factor profile for evaluating each country. These factors include regional stability and the reduction of illicit financial flows. Humanitarian outcomes and the influence of adversaries are also considered. Domestic political plausibility completes the 5-factor assessment. Regional stability is defined by the absence of armed conflicts. It also requires the absence of political crises within a country. Stability extends to a country's neighboring regions. High instability in a region increases overall global risk. Illicit flows involve the illegal trafficking of drugs, weapons, and people across borders. Reduction of illicit flows is a measure of a country's effectiveness in combating these illegal activities. Effective control of illicit flows is crucial for maintaining national and international security. Poor control over illicit flows increases global risk by enabling criminal networks. Uncontrolled illicit flows can destabilize regions and undermine legitimate economies. Humanitarian outcomes gauge a population's well-being. These outcomes include access to essential resources. These resources include food, shelter, healthcare, and safety. Poor humanitarian outcomes elevate global risk levels. Adversary influence assesses the impact of rival powers on a country. Key adversaries include nations such as Russia, Iran, and China. The assessment focuses on these powers' effects on a country's stability. High adversary influence contributes to increased global risk levels. Domestic political plausibility assesses a government's stability and legitimacy. It also considers the strength and reliability of a country's institutions. Fragile domestic politics are a key indicator of increased global risk. Instability within a nation can have ripple effects internationally. Tier 1 designates states facing critical risks due to internal and external factors. These states possess internal fragility, making them susceptible to instability. They also have significant external linkages, connecting them to regional and global systems. The combination of fragility and linkages creates the potential for systemic or regional shocks. These shocks can have far-reaching consequences beyond the state's borders. Therefore, Tier 1 states require immediate and focused attention to mitigate potential crises. Venezuela is classified as Tier 1 due to several critical factors. These factors include low stability and a criminalized state structure. A severe humanitarian crisis further contributes to this classification. High adversary influence within the country is also a significant concern. Illicit financial flows are central to the regime's survival, solidifying its Tier 1 status. Pakistan is categorized as Tier 1-inch nuclear security assessments. This classification is due to several factors impacting nuclear safety and control. A significant factor is Pakistan's relatively low political and economic stability. Weak controls over illicit trafficking and proliferation contribute to the Tier 1 classification. Fragile institutional frameworks within the country also raise concerns. High external influence, particularly from China, further influences this categorization. Nigeria is classified as a Tier 1 country due to a combination of critical factors. A significant factor is Nigeria's large population, which presents unique challenges. Ongoing insurgencies within the country contribute to its Tier 1 designation. Severe illicit financial flows further exacerbate the challenges faced by Nigeria. Growing influence from Russia and China also plays a role in Nigeria's Tier 1 status. Ethiopia is classified as a Tier 1 risk due to several critical factors. A recent large-scale conflict has significantly destabilized the region. Existing ethnic tensions exacerbate the instability and potential for further conflict. Weak humanitarian outcomes and the risk of further fragmentation contribute to the Tier 1 classification. Tier 1 classification indicates a country facing extreme instability and crisis. Ukraine is classified as Tier 1 due to its active state of war. High levels of external involvement contribute to this classification. The immense humanitarian pressure within Ukraine further supports its Tier 1 status. Ukraine's central role in the Russia-West confrontation solidifies its position in Tier 1. Russia is categorized as a Tier 1 adversary due to its significant global impact. A key factor is Russia's adversarial role in international relations. Internal authoritarianism contributes to this high-risk classification. Russia's external aggression further solidifies its Tier 1 status. Its considerable influence on global instability is a major concern. Iran is classified as a Tier 1 adversary due to several factors. factors. These factors include its role as a regional spoiler and its high adversary influence. Sanctions, pressure, proxy networks, and internal unrest further contribute to this classification. These elements combine to position Iran as a significant challenge in the geopolitical landscape. Afghanistan is categorized as a Tier 1 nation due to several critical factors. These factors include collapsed governance and widespread illicit activities such as narcotics trafficking. The country also faces a severe humanitarian crisis, exacerbating its instability. Afghanistan's potential to serve as a sanctuary for extremist groups further contributes to its Tier 1 designation. Yemen is classified as a Tier 1 crisis zone due to its complex and severe circumstances. The country is embroiled in a multi-sided war, creating widespread instability. This conflict has precipitated a major humanitarian catastrophe, impacting a large portion of the population. Yemen has also become a proxy theater for regional and international power struggles. Key among these is the conflict between Iran and Saudi Arabia, played out within Yemeni borders. Great power narratives further complicate the situation, contributing to its Tier 1 designation. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, is categorized as a Tier 1 risk. This categorization is due to the DRC's substantial resource-driven conflict. Illicit mining activities significantly contribute to the instability. The conflict in the DRC also carries a high risk of spilling over into neighboring regions. These factors combined place the DRC in the highest risk tier. North Korea is categorized in Tier 1 due to its unique circumstances. Its nuclear arsenal contributes to this special classification. The opaque nature of North Korea's regime is another significant factor. Concerns about the country's stability further justify its Tier 1 designation. These combined elements distinguish North Korea as a special case. Tier 2 designates a category of states facing significant challenges. These states are not necessarily on the brink of collapse. However, they exhibit serious, regional, or thematic risks. These risks necessitate continuous monitoring to assess the evolving situation. Strategic engagement is crucial to address the identified risks and prevent further deterioration. Mexico is classified as Tier 2 due to its complex security landscape. The nation exhibits medium stability, indicating a moderate level of governmental control. However, intense cartel violence significantly undermines overall security. Major illicit flows of goods and money contribute to instability. Mexico's adjacency to the U.S. further complicates its security challenges. Colombia is classified as a Tier 2 country. This classification is due to ongoing insurgency and criminal economies. Colombia serves as a key node in illicit flows. This is despite having stronger institutions compared to Tier 1 countries. The combination of these factors results in its Tier 2 categorization. Brazil is categorized in Tier 2 due to its significant regional influence. The country plays a regionally stabilizing role in South America. However, Brazil faces internal strains that affect its overall stability. High political polarization is a key characteristic of Brazil's current political landscape. Brazil holds a crucial position regarding the Amazon rainforest. Its role in the regional order further underscores its importance and Tier 2 classification. Egypt is classified as Tier 2 due to a combination of factors. These factors include authoritarian stability and significant economic stress. High external influence from Russia and China also contributes to this categorization. Egypt's strategic importance as the Suez choke point further solidifies its Tier 2 status. South Africa is classified as Tier 2 due to several critical factors. Governance erosion is a significant concern affecting South Africa's stability. High levels of crime contribute to the country's Tier 2 classification. Economic stagnation further exacerbates the challenges faced by South Africa. South Africa's underperformance as a regional anchor impacts its overall standing. These combined issues result in South Africa being placed in Tier 2. Turkey is classified as a Tier 2 country due to its geopolitical significance. Its strategic location contributes to this classification. Turkey's assertive foreign policy also plays a significant role. Internal polarization and involvement in multiple theaters further define its Tier 2 status. Saudi Arabia is classified as Tier 2. This classification is based on its substantial resources. Its regional involvement in conflicts also contributes to this categorization. Human rights considerations are a factor in the Tier 2 designation. Internal political constraints within Saudi Arabia further influence its placement in Tier 2. Iraq is categorized as a Tier 2 nation due to several complex factors. Persistent tensions between militias and the state contribute to this classification. Regional rivalries and the residue of ISIS further destabilize the country. Significant Iranian influence within Iraq is also a key factor in its Tier 2 designation. Myanmar is classified under Tier 2 due to a combination of critical factors. Military rule is a primary driver of this classification. Ongoing civil war dynamics contribute significantly to its Tier 2 status. The severe humanitarian crisis exacerbates the situation. A substantial refugee crisis further strains Myanmar's stability. Regional stress, influenced by Myanmar's internal conflicts, also plays a role in its Tier 2 designation. North Korea is classified as Tier 2 due to specific factors. The country's nuclear program is a primary reason for this categorization. Regional tensions involving North Korea contribute to its Tier 2 status. The opaque nature of North Korea's internal stability is another factor. These elements prevent its placement in Tier 1. Tier 3 represents a category of states that are considered important but carry risks. The risks associated with Tier 3 states are mitigated by robust institutions or favorable geographical factors. These states require ongoing support to maintain stability and manage potential challenges. Vigilance is necessary to monitor and address any emerging threats or vulnerabilities in Tier 3 states. India is classified as Tier 3 due to a combination of factors. These factors include its large and complex democratic system, localized instability, and medium levels of illicit financial flows also contribute. However, India also possesses strong state coherence. The interplay of these elements positions India in the Tier 3 category. Indonesia is classified as Tier 3 due to its unique characteristics. Its extensive archipelago presents specific challenges. The nation faces issues such as extremism and illicit financial flows. Despite these challenges, Indonesia maintains relatively stable governance. Kenya is classified as Tier 3 in terms of security challenges. This classification is due to existing border security issues. Periodic outbreaks of violence contribute to this categorization. However, Kenya demonstrates improving institutional resilience. The combination of these factors places Kenya in Tier 3. Morocco is categorized as Tier 3 due to its geopolitical significance. Its relative stability in a volatile region contributes to this classification. Morocco plays a crucial role in regional migration patterns. The country is also relevant in the context of terrorism and counterterrorism efforts. The Western Sahara dispute further influences Morocco's Tier 3 designation. These combined factors highlight Morocco's complex regional dynamics. Argentina is classified under Tier 3 due to a combination of economic and political factors. The nation experiences significant economic volatility, characterized by fluctuations in growth and stability. Argentina also faces political swings, indicating shifts in government and policy direction. Despite these challenges, Argentina possesses stable institutions that provide a degree of resilience. The country benefits from low external malign influence, reducing vulnerability to foreign interference. These factors collectively contribute to Argentina's placement in Tier 3. The Philippines is classified as Tier 3 inches security assessments. This categorization is influenced by ongoing security challenges in the southern regions. Crime rates also contribute to the Tier 3 classification. Despite these challenges, the Philippines has strengthened its alliances. Positive democratic processes are also a factor in the nation's overall security profile. Certain countries are identified as having low global risk profiles. These states also possess a high stabilizing value in the international system. Included in this category are nations in Western Europe. Japan and South Korea are also considered low-risk, high-stability states. Canada, Australia, and New Zealand share similar characteristics. These countries are viewed as contributing to global stability and security. The COA matrix integrates risk ranking with courses of action, COAs. This integration is designed for use by US and Brazilian planners. It provides a structured approach to decision-making. The matrix aids in evaluating and comparing different COAs. Risk ranking helps prioritize potential threats and vulnerabilities. The COA matrix facilitates collaborative planning efforts. COA type: Engage, E, focuses on proactive international relations. It utilizes diplomacy to build and maintain positive relationships. Aid is provided to support development and address humanitarian needs. Reform support is offered to encourage positive changes in governance and society. Targeted cooperation is implemented to address specific challenges and promote stability. Contain, C, is a type of course of action, COA. The Contain COA focuses on preventing the spread of negative impacts. It includes intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, ISR, activities. This COA also involves partner building around the state. A key goal is limiting spillover effects to mitigate potential risks. Pressure, P, is a type of COA, course of action, that employs coercive measures. This approach aims to deter harmful behavior through various means. Sanctions are a key component of the pressure COA. Legal tools are utilized to enforce compliance and accountability. Naming and shaming tactics are employed to publicly denounce undesirable actions. These combined efforts exert pressure to discourage and prevent harmful activities. Bargain, B, is a type of COA, certificate of analysis, that involves conditional deals. These deals offer concessions as part of the agreement. The concessions are typically provided in exchange for relief. They can also be offered to encourage or reward improved conduct. The conditions attached to the bargain COA aim to achieve specific outcomes. This type of COA is often used to resolve disputes or incentivize positive changes. COA type support back, S, is designed for stable democracies. It also applies to nations acting as anchors of stability. The primary goal is to provide assistance. This assistance aims to maintain their positive and stabilizing roles. The analysis focuses on strategies related to Venezuela. The U.S. strategy, COA, involves containment and pressure. The U.S. strategy also includes a conditional element of bargaining. Brazil's strategy, COA, emphasizes containment and bargaining. Brazil's approach incorporates minimal pressure. The U.S. and Brazil adopt different approaches regarding pressure tactics. This analysis focuses on engagement strategies for Tier 1 nations, specifically Pakistan and Brazil. For Pakistan, the U.S. course of action, COA, is contain plus selective engage. The U.S. strategy aims to avoid destabilization within Pakistan. Brazil's COA involves indirect engage, primarily through multilateral forums. Brazil takes on a limited direct role in its engagement strategy. This indirect approach leverages international platforms for engagement. The U.S. course of action, COA, in Nigeria involves both engagement and containment strategies. This approach includes targeted pressure on specific networks within Nigeria. In Brazil, the U.S. COA focuses on engagement through South-South cooperation. Containment strategies in Brazil are aimed at managing potential spillover effect. The level of pressure applied in Brazil is notably lower compared to Nigeria. This analysis focuses on the courses of action, COA, taken by the U.S. and Brazil regarding Ethiopia. The U.S. COA involves engagement through mediation and humanitarian aid. The U.S. approach includes limited pressure tactics. Brazil's COA centers on engagement through African diplomacy. Brazil's strategy avoids employing hard pressure. This analysis focuses on the courses of action, COA, adopted by different nations. The United States COA towards Iran is characterized by pressure and containment. Limited bargaining is employed by the U.S. when deemed beneficial. Brazil's COA is largely neutral in its approach. Brazil primarily engages through multilateral settings and diplomatic channels. This analysis focuses on the strategic courses of action, COA, for specific nations. Tier 1 nations, Russia and Brazil, exhibit distinct strategic approaches. The U.S. strategy towards Russia is defined by pressure and containment. Strategic engagement with Russia is employed by the U.S. only when necessary. Brazil's COA involves engaging with all parties while avoiding alignment. Brazil prioritizes regional stability in its strategic engagements. The U.S. course of action, COA, involves support and engagement with Ukraine. A key element of the U.S. COA is to contain Russia's influence. Brazil's COA focuses on engagement and limited support for Ukraine. Brazil's strategy emphasizes non-escalation of the conflict. The U.S. generally prefers pressuring adversaries to achieve its objectives. The U.S. also focuses on containing potential disruptions caused by spoilers. A key U.S. approach involves actively supporting its partners in various initiatives. Brazil tends to prioritize engagement and containment strategies, while remaining cautious of escalatory pressure tactics. Tier 2 countries employ a mix of engage and contain strategies. For Mexico, the U.S. COA mix emphasizes engage through security cooperation. The U.S. also uses contain strategies towards Mexico. Brazil's COA mix involves a limited engage approach. The strategy for Brazil also includes contain, avoiding direct pressure. The U.S. approach to Colombia involves a mix of support and engage strategies with some containment measures. This indicates a multifaceted relationship, balancing assistance, cooperation, and strategic limitations. Brazil's COA mix is primarily engage and support, particularly at a regional level. Brazil also maintains strong diplomatic links, facilitating its engagement and support strategies. This scenario focuses on Tier 2 engagement with Brazil from a U.S. perspective. The U.S. course of action, COA, mix, involves both engage and support strategies. The Brazilian course of action, COA, is designated as in-a-self. This indicates Brazil is acting independently in this particular scenario. Tier 2 countries are being assessed for their alignment with U.S. and other geopolitical strategies. Egypt's approach combines security engagement with cautious pressure on human rights. The U.S. country of action, COA, mix for Egypt is engage in security matters. Brazil's COA is also engage, but with a posture of tactical neutrality. This neutrality suggests a balanced approach, avoiding strong alignment with any single power. This analysis compares the courses of action, COA, for Turkey and Brazil. Turkey's COA is categorized as Tier 2, indicating a specific level of strategic engagement. The U.S. approach to Turkey involves a mix of engage, NATO, and selective pressure. Engage, NATO, suggests collaboration within the NATO framework. Selective pressure implies targeted influence or constraints on Turkey. Brazil's COA is characterized by engage, while remaining outside of NATO-related issues. This analysis compares the U.S. and Brazil's courses of action, COA, towards specific nations. The U.S. COA mix for Saudi Arabia involves engagement on security and energy matters. The U.S. also applies muted pressure on Saudi Arabia. Brazil's COA towards an unspecified nation is characterized by engagement. Brazil also maintains a stance of neutrality. Tier 3 countries have specific courses of action, COA, assigned to them. For India, the U.S. COA is defined as engage plus support. This indicates a strategy of active engagement coupled with supportive measures. Brazil's COA is engage, Global South partnerships. This emphasizes engagement through partnerships within the Global South. This analysis focuses on the courses of action, COA, for Tier 3 countries, specifically Indonesia and Brazil. A course of action represents a strategic approach or plan. For Indonesia, the U.S. COA is defined as engage plus support. Engage plus support suggests a strategy of active involvement coupled with assistance. Brazil's COA is also defined as engage plus support. This indicates a consistent strategic approach towards both Indonesia and Brazil. Tier 3 countries represent a specific category within a defined classification system. Kenya's U.S. country operational approach, COA, involves engagement and support. This includes counterterrorism efforts and governance initiatives. Brazil's COA involves engagement and support through South-South cooperation. Tier 3 signifies a specific level within a defined categorization system. In this context, Morocco is classified under Tier 3. The U.S. course of action, COA, for Morocco is engage plus support. This indicates a strategy of active engagement coupled with supportive measures. Brazil's COA for Morocco is simply engage. Brazil's engagement strategy is linked to Africa, Arab relations. U.S. planners must strategically allocate resources in Tier 1 states. A key decision involves determining locations suitable for accepting containment. Planners must also identify areas where pressure should be actively applied. Another strategic element is pinpointing opportunities for negotiation and bargaining. The U.S. planner guidance emphasizes strategic engagement and support. This focus is directed towards states categorized in Tier 2 and Tier 3. The primary goal is to prevent these states from regressing into Tier 1. Proactive support aims to maintain or improve their current standing. Brazilian foreign policy should prioritize regional containment strategies. Diplomacy should be a primary tool, especially when dealing with neighboring countries. Avoidance of extra-regional pressure campaigns is crucial for stability. Extra-regional pressure could destabilize the South American region. Focus should remain on maintaining a stable and cooperative environment within South America. This approach aims to foster peaceful relations and prevent external interference. A matrix can be adapted into a 2x2 format for comparative analysis. The 2x2 matrix plots risk tier versus preferred COA, course of action. This allows for a visual representation of risk levels against strategic preferences. The matrix can be created separately for the US and Brazil. This separation enables a comparison of risk and strategy between the two countries. A conceptual heat map is used to visualize global risk levels. The map employs color gradients to represent varying degrees of risk. Different colors indicate different levels of potential danger or instability. Bands or zones on the map highlight specific areas with similar risk profiles. The color red signifies Tier 1. Tier 1 indicates critical risk states. Critical risk states represent the highest level of instability. This level suggests a significant potential for systemic shock. The color code orange signifies Tier 2 risk level. Tier 2 indicates high-risk states. This classification points to significant risks. These risks may be regional in scope, or the risks may be thematic in nature. High-risk states require sustained attention and monitoring. The color yellow in a color-coded system indicates a specific level of risk. Specifically, yellow corresponds to Tier 3, representing an elevated risk state. This elevated risk is still considered manageable within the defined system. The manageability of the risk is attributed to buffering factors. These factors may include strong institutional frameworks or favorable geographical conditions. The color green in this context represents a specific risk assessment. Green signifies low risk in this color-coded system. This low-risk designation is assigned to stabilizing actors. Stabilizing actors are typically states or entities that contribute to global stability. These actors actively work to maintain or improve international relations. They often offer solutions to global challenges and promote peaceful resolutions. Certain regions within the Americas are designated as red. Venezuela is classified under the red category. Haiti is also included in the red designation. Parts of Central America, specifically the Northern Triangle, are red-coded. Border areas of Mexico are also classified as red regions. Several countries in the Americas are designated with an orange color code. This designation includes Colombia. Brazil is also included in the orange-coded group. Peru and Bolivia complete the list of orange-coded countries in the Americas. Argentina is coded yellow. Chile is coded yellow. Uruguay is coded yellow. The color yellow is used to represent these countries. This coding applies to the Americas region. The specific meaning of yellow requires additional context. The United States and Canada are represented by the color green. This color coding likely signifies a specific attribute or classification. The attribute could relate to economic status. The attribute could relate to environmental factors. The attribute could relate to political alignment. The Eurasia region is being visually represented. Ukraine is assigned a specific color code, red. Russia is also assigned the color code red. This indicates a shared attribute or status between Ukraine and Russia in this coding system. The color red likely signifies a particular category or condition relevant to both countries. Further context is needed to understand the meaning of the red color code in this specific representation. The Eurasia region includes areas coded in orange. Specific areas coded orange are located in the Western Balkans. These orange areas are not uniformly spread but appear in pockets. Parts of the Caucasus region are also designated with the orange code. Therefore, orange coding signifies specific areas within the Western Balkans and Caucasus. This coding system is used to differentiate regions within Eurasia. The Eurasia region is visually represented using a color-coded system. The color yellow indicates countries under pressure within this region. Turkey is one of the countries coded yellow. Certain Eastern EU states also fall under the yellow category, signifying similar pressures. Much of Western and Northern Europe is designated with a green code. This coding likely refers to a specific classification system. The green designation suggests a favorable condition or status. This could relate to travel advisories, risk assessments, or environmental factors. Further context is needed to determine the exact meaning of the green code. The coding applies to a significant portion of the European continent. Several African nations are designated as red. This designation typically implies a high level of risk or concern. The Sahel Belt countries, including Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, are coded red. Nigeria and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, also fall under this category. Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan, and South Sudan are similarly coded red. The specific reasons for this coding may vary depending on the context. Certain African countries are designated with an orange color code. Egypt is one of the countries included in the orange designation. Libya also falls under the orange color-coded category. Northern Mozambique is classified as orange. The Central African Republic, CAR, is also coded orange. Certain African countries are designated with a yellow code. This coding likely represents a specific classification or grouping. Kenya is one of the African countries included in this yellow category. Tanzania is also classified under the yellow code. Ghana, Senegal, Morocco, and Tunisia share the same yellow designation. The yellow code may signify shared characteristics or conditions among these nations. Many African nations are striving for sustainable environmental practices. No African nation fully meets all green standards. Morocco demonstrates notable progress in renewable energy and sustainable development. Botswana focuses on wildlife conservation and ecotourism. Mauritius is advancing in sustainable tourism and marine conservation efforts. Namibia is recognized for its community-based natural resource management. Several regions in the Middle East are designated as red. This designation includes Syria, Yemen, and Iraq. Parts of Lebanon and Gaza are also coded as red. The red coding likely indicates a specific status or condition within these areas. The Middle East region includes several countries with significant geopolitical influence. Iran is a major player in the Middle East, known for its energy resources and strategic location. Saudi Arabia also holds a prominent position due to its vast oil reserves and religious significance. Egypt is another key country in the region, with a large population and strategic control of the Suez Canal. These three countries, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt, are particularly influential. Their actions and policies have a considerable impact on the stability and dynamics of the Middle East. Several Middle Eastern countries are categorized as yellow, indicating a specific level of stability and risk. The yellow category includes Jordan, Oman, UAE, Qatar, and Kuwait. These nations are characterized by high internal stability. However, they face potential risks due to regional exposure and geopolitical factors. The Middle East region presents a complex stability landscape. Currently, no nation in the Middle East is considered fully green or entirely stable. The Gulf monarchies exhibit relative stability within the region. However, these monarchies are geographically situated in a volatile, red-orange geopolitical neighborhood. This proximity to instability introduces inherent risks and challenges to their long-term security. Certain regions in the Asia-Pacific area are designated as red zones. These red zones include Afghanistan and North Korea. North Korea is considered a special case within this classification. Parts of Myanmar are also categorized as red zones. Conflict zones within Pakistan are included in the red zone designation. Certain regions in the Asia-Pacific area are designated as orange due to security concerns. Pakistan, overall, falls into the orange security level category. Myanmar is also classified as orange, indicating significant security risks. The southern region of the Philippines is coded orange due to ongoing insecurity issues. Specific Chinese border regions are also marked orange, attributed to security problems. The orange designation signifies a heightened level of risk, requiring increased vigilance. The Asia-Pacific region includes several countries coded with a specific color. Indonesia is one of the countries in this region coded as yellow. Thailand is also identified and coded as yellow. Malaysia shares the same coding and is designated as yellow. India, specifically its border zones, is also coded yellow. Therefore, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and India border zones are coded yellow. The Asia-Pacific region includes several countries coded as green. Japan is classified as a green country in the Asia-Pacific region. South Korea is also designated as green. Singapore is another country in the Asia-Pacific area with a green designation. Australia and New Zealand are also coded green. A conceptual heat map visualizes data through color coding, typically using a spectrum from green to red. In the context of the Americas, a heat map can represent various risk factors across different regions. Areas colored red on the map signify regions with critical levels of risk. Venezuela is highlighted as a region with a concentration of red, indicating high risk. Parts of Central America also exhibit red coloration, suggesting similar risk levels. This visual representation allows for quick identification of high-risk areas within the Americas. The Europe-Eurasia heat map visually represents risk levels across the region. Ukraine and Russia are highlighted in red on the map. The red color signifies high-risk areas due to the ongoing conflict. This visual representation quickly communicates areas of significant instability. A conceptual heat map visualizes data through color coding to represent different levels of intensity or concentration. In the context of Africa, a heat map can illustrate various socioeconomic or environmental factors. The Sahel region, stretching across Africa, is often depicted as a red belt on such maps. The color red signifies areas experiencing high levels of instability. It also indicates the presence of significant humanitarian crises within the region. Therefore, the heat map serves as a visual tool to highlight critical areas needing attention and aid. A heat map visually represents data through color coding. In this context, the Middle East heat map uses red to indicate areas of high conflict. Syria, Yemen, and Iraq are highlighted in red due to ongoing conflicts. The concentration of red signifies regional tensions and instability. The Asia-Pacific heat map visually represents risk levels across the region. It uses color coding to indicate the severity of risk in different countries. Afghanistan is marked in red, signifying a critical risk status. North Korea is also highlighted in red, indicating a similar high-risk assessment. The red color denotes the highest level of concern within the heat map's framework. This visual tool helps in quickly identifying and focusing on the most vulnerable areas. Heat maps provide a visual representation of risk distribution across a geographical area. This visualization allows for rapid identification of high-risk zones. Areas displayed in warmer colors, for example, red, orange, indicate higher risk levels. Conversely, cooler colors, for example, blue, green, represent lower risk levels. The color-coded representation enables quick assessment of relative risk magnitudes. Heat maps facilitate prioritization of resources and interventions in critical areas. The COA matrix serves as a strategic decision-making framework. It guides both the US and Brazil in their strategic planning. The matrix is designed to aid in responding to global risks. It helps in analyzing courses of action, COA. This analysis supports informed and effective decision-making processes. Ultimately, it enhances strategic responses to international challenges. Understanding global risk patterns is essential for international stability. Identifying appropriate courses of action is crucial in managing global risks. Effective strategies help prevent systemic shocks on a global scale. Proactive measures are necessary to maintain stability and mitigate potential crises. The model operates by simplifying intricate real-world scenarios. It depends on subjective evaluations of various risk factors. This reliance necessitates ongoing refinement to maintain accuracy. Continuous adaptation is crucial for the model to remain effective. Regular updates help the model address new challenges and data. Future studies should focus on refining risk assessment methodologies. Improved methodologies are needed for more accurate risk predictions. Research should aim to enhance the effectiveness of international response strategies. This includes developing better coordination and resource allocation mechanisms. Effective global risk management necessitates international collaboration. This collaboration includes the sharing of critical information between nations. Coordinating strategies is essential for addressing shared global challenges. Through collaboration, nations can collectively mitigate and manage global risks more effectively. International organizations are crucial in the international system. These organizations actively monitor global risks. They facilitate cooperation among different nations. International organizations provide assistance to vulnerable states. This support helps these states address critical challenges. Overall, they promote stability and development worldwide. Investing in resilience-building measures is crucial for mitigating global risks. Strengthening governance is a key component of building resilience. Promoting sustainable economic development enhances a nation's ability to withstand shocks. Addressing social inequalities is essential for creating inclusive and resilient societies. Resilience-building strategies aim to reduce vulnerability to various global challenges. These investments collectively contribute to a more stable and secure global environment. The global risk landscape is subject to continuous change. This dynamism necessitates ongoing adaptation and risk management. Effective risk assessment requires continuous innovation. Strategies must evolve to address emerging threats and vulnerabilities. Adaptation and innovation are crucial for maintaining resilience in a changing world. Effective global risk management is crucial for stability. It enhances security on a worldwide scale. It contributes to a more prosperous global environment. Ultimately, it benefits everyone by fostering a safer and more thriving world.